School districts are trying to find ways to make up for weather-related closures as more snow and sleet is expected in southern Wisconsin.
And join us as we remember an officer with the Milwaukee Police Department shot and killed in the line of duty.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
And thanks for joining us. More snow and freezing rain is on the way.
This could make for another messy commute tomorrow morning. Dave Caulfield is tracking conditions for us right now. So how is it looking now, Dave?
Yeah, even tonight for the later portions of the evening commute, it could be a little bit tricky in some spots. We're starting to see that ice move a little bit closer to Madison. Pretty light still is that precipitation, a wintry mix showing up across southern Wisconsin with rain, freezing rain, sleet and snow all possible through tonight into tomorrow. This is what it looks like in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam. So not anything too heavy falling right now, but that could change over the next hour or so. We do have a winter weather advisory in effect for all of southern Wisconsin for tonight into Thursday. Temperatures very important in a forecast like this. 28 in Madison, 30, so a little bit warmer to the south in Monroe, in Janesville, Platteville as well. And we've already gotten some reports from the Mineral Point area of some icy conditions there. So especially if you're out on the roads right now or about to be over the next hour or so, just give yourself a little bit of extra time because you might encounter some slick spots. And as we head into tomorrow morning, we could see more slick spots with freezing rain and snow possible. We'll talk more about that in your First Alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. And despite a number of weather-related closures, the state's education agency is not going to reduce the number of mandated classroom hours.
Keely Arthur shares how districts here are making up for lost time.
Last week, many districts shut down for 3, even 4 days. Some districts like Middleton, Cross Plains built in enough additional time so they're okay, but other districts have not. It's a busy day inside Middleton High School, but these halls were pretty empty recently.
The week before we had one snow day, and then last week Monday we had another snow day, and then we were off because of the cold on Wednesday and Thursday.
Under state law, Wisconsin students in 1st through 6th grade are required at least 1,050 hours of instruction. Grades 7 through 12, 1,137 hours. It's up to individual districts if they want to go over that in case of unexpected closures. Perry Hibner, the communications specialist for Middleton Cross Plains Area School District, says they have an extra 40 hours built in.
On the years when the weather's good, there's nothing wrong with kids being in school a little longer. And on the years like this year where we've had to deal with some of those inclement weather days, we have that time built in.
Right now, the district has 10 hours left before they need to add additional time, but it isn't the case everywhere.
It is a local decision. So some districts may decide, especially with weather having been pretty mild in Wisconsin the last few years, that they don't want to have any time built in.
Districts like Verona and Madison had time built in, but in some cases not enough. Verona middle schoolers and elementary students are fine, but the district is short at the high school level by 18 hours. A spokesperson there tells us to make up that time, we will be making schedule modifications that will be communicated out to staff and families later this week. The Madison Metropolitan School District added an additional school day this Friday, and like all districts are exploring additional ways to add in more school time in case this crazy Wisconsin weather persists.
I mean, who knows? We're only in the middle of February. I taught one year in a school district where we had a snow day on May 10th.
The governor of Minnesota gave schools a pass there, but the governor in Wisconsin does not have that authority. For News 3 Now, I'm Keely Arthur.
Keely, thank you. Madison street crews are focusing on keeping roads salted, but they're also dealing with another problem, potholes. After our extreme cold last week, we saw a major warm-up over the weekend, and as the roads are freezing up again, the moisture is expanding in the roadways, thus creating those pesky potholes. The city of Madison has 6 total crews out right now, 3 on the east side, 3 on the west side. But there are 1,800 miles of traffic lanes in Madison, so it's difficult for the city to predict where exactly those potholes will pop up. That's why your reports are so important.
Let us know. We don't expect the residents to try to figure out what possible agency could possibly be in charge of this thing. Let us know. We know. We'll figure it out. We'll get it in the right people's hands so we can get that taken care of.
Now, the type of mix using to patch those potholes right now is more of a Band-Aid fix. The city will use a more permanent mixture once the weather is warmer. If you have a pothole you'd like to report, we have a link at channel3000.com.
The Milwaukee Police Department is mourning one of its own killed in the line of duty. A 17-year police veteran was shot and killed while trying to serve a warrant this morning. This is the city's third officer killed in the line of duty in 8 months. We know the officer was 35 years old. His name has not been released yet. He was part of the tactical enforcement unit and was approaching the suspect's home when shots were fired. A memorial procession was held for that officer today. His body was transported from Frederick Hospital to the medical examiner's office. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. The suspected shooter, a 26-year-old man, was taken into custody. Attorney General Josh Kaul released a statement about this shooting, saying in part, those who put on the uniform every day put their safety at risk to protect others and save lives.
The man accused of kidnapping Jamie Kloss, killing her parents, has been ordered to stand trial after waiving his rights to a preliminary hearing. 21-year-old Jake Patterson said very little as he went before a judge in Barron County. That hearing lasted less than 5 minutes. Patterson's attorney said he was waiving his right to a preliminary examination of the evidence. The judge then set Patterson's arraignment for March 27th. The suspect's father and siblings were in court today, along with Jamie's relatives. Jamie was not there. Patterson is accused of killing her parents, James and Denise Kloss, back on October 15th in order to kidnap Jamie, who escaped from the Douglas County cabin where she had been held nearly a month ago. A family friend says she is recovering in private by going to therapy and spending time with loved ones.
I don't think any of us can really know what she's going through, but I think that if she has to be with a group of people that will love her and support her for the rest of her life, she's in the perfect family to do that.
Now, Patterson has yet to enter a plea, but investigators say he confessed during questioning. A conviction would likely mean he'll spend the rest of his life in prison.
2 people are in custody in connection to 5 armed and attempted robberies in Madison. Madison police were called around 9 o'clock this morning after a woman tried robbing Bottle Stop Liquors on East Wash. Police say the woman had a gun but didn't take anything from the store. She got into a car driven by a man. Police say the color of the car helped them make the arrest.
She was driving in a bright yellow car. So the getaway car is something that really stood out. And so after this latest robbery this morning, that yellow car was seen leaving the area. We spotted it, we pulled it over, and we took her into custody.
Again, police believe this woman is connected to several other armed robberies in the city, all happening within 14 hours. The spring primary is less than 2 weeks away, and tonight there is an opportunity for people on Madison's north side to talk with those running for mayor. Moderators plan to ask questions about issues that directly impact north side neighborhoods. You'll also have the chance to ask about what matters to you and your family. You'll need to leave soon, though, if you want to attend. The forum begins at 6:30 at the Warner Park Recreation Center.
A beloved Badger is set to return to Camp Randall Stadium in time for this year's graduation. That would be J.J. Watt. He'll be this year's spring commencement speaker. He posted about his return to Wisconsin, even making a little joke on social media today.
I'm not sure if the people organizing this know that I haven't graduated yet. So I'm just saying, if a diploma happened to slide my way, I wouldn't be too upset.
Yeah, he left a little early for the draft. The spring commencement is May 11th, and when it comes to graduating, a record number of students graduated from the UW system institutions this past year. There is a new app to help UW students find love, or at least make new friends. It doesn't involve swiping left or right. Data Match is a matchmaking service now available to UW students this year. Students can fill out a 21-question survey. They'll then receive 10 matches based on their survey responses. The organization hopes its service will unite students.
Once they get their match, then they have the opportunity to go out on a date, because that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make connections with students that maybe you don't cross paths with, when you're on your day-to-day.
That survey launches February 7th. UW hopes to have around 10,000 students participate. They've partnered with local businesses to offer special night date promotions. Data Match initially started at Harvard back in 1994. The Grammys are this Sunday on CBS, and some of the biggest names in music are up for nominations. One nominee you might not know about is Jim Leary. He will be recognized for his work connected to Swiss and German folk music from the early 20th century, produced in Wisconsin. Leary, a semi-retired professor at UW-Madison, nominated in the Best Album Notes category. He says the album has a special place in his heart because it shares Wisconsin's diverse history. He plans to head to L.A. with his family later this week. The Grammys are this Sunday right here on CBS. It'll be at 7 o'clock.
Still to come, your complete forecast as we get ready for another blast of winter.
Plus, after space had become an issue, how Madison's Jewish community finds a new final resting place for loved ones. You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
The big
Welcome back. Sacred burial plots have been an essential part of Jewish burial rituals for thousands of years.
Madison's own Jewish community now has a new place to bury their loved ones. Chris Lewinberg has the story.
Beit Olamim is still a young cemetery, but with land extending all the way back to the tree line, Madison's Jewish community will now have over 1,200 new sacred burial plots.
Rabbi Jonathan Baich says that death is just a part of life.
It means making your family feel like they matter, that their loved one matters.
For thousands of years, Jewish cemeteries have been a priority for the community.
And you needed a place that was consecrated, and you needed a place that was appropriate for that burial. And so that's why the creation of a Jewish cemetery was so important to those communities, and it's important to communities these days as well.
So when Madison's sacred Jewish burial plots in Forest Hill Cemetery started filling up, the community had to find a new place.
Many people try to be buried there, but the problem is that Jewish area became filled up.
The Jewish Burial Association of Madison chose Sunset Memory Gardens to house Beit Olamim and its new sacred burial sites last month.
We want people, when they come here, to visit the graves of their deceased family members, to find it to be a peaceful place.
And they have hope that the Jewish community will embrace it.
But we tend to do things as a group. We like to be buried in community as we live in community.
So that in life and in loss, their memories of loved ones will be beautiful forever.
Going to a place that is welcoming to us.
The Jewish Burial Association of Madison says that it hopes that these new sacred burial plots will sustain the Jewish Madison community for over 50 years. I'm Chris Lewinberg, WISC News 3 Now.
The cemetery has two sections, one for traditional Jewish practices and one that allows for the inclusion of non-Jewish family members.
We have another alert day for tomorrow as sleet and snow could make the drive into work a little slippery tomorrow. We'll have an update on conditions next in the First Alert forecast.
Meteorologist Dave Caulfield joins us now. And are we going to have another layer of ice on our windshield later tonight, or is that for tomorrow?
Well, I think it's possible, Charlotte and Eric, because we have a wave of mixed precipitation moving through now, and then as we get to tomorrow morning, we could have more freezing rain and sleet to worry about for portions of southern Wisconsin. So here's what's going on Doppler track right now. A lot of it showing up as snow on radar, but again, similar to yesterday, we could be looking at some portions of freezing rain and sleet. That's showing up a little bit closer to Janesville, some flurries, some snow activity to the north, and we're looking at just some messy weather over the next 24 to 36 hours. A winter weather advisory for that fact is in effect for southern Wisconsin until we get into later tomorrow, just to the north where they're expecting a little bit less ice but more snow. We do have a winter storm warning in effect, and that does include Juneau and Adams counties. Not in Adams County or Juneau County, in Grant County, Platteville. In fact, on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam, still showing a little bit of light mixed precipitation falling, and a similar story in Madison on the Edgewater Skycam, looking at mostly cloudy skies with rain being reported at the airport, but a lot of times our sensors have a tough time with mixed precipitation. Doesn't necessarily know what's falling outside, so that's why we depend on your reports so much in situations like this. Temperatures in the upper 20s, but winds have really picked up out of the east-northeast at 17 miles per hour. And when we talk about just a little bit of ice, once you start getting the wind into play, that can make things pretty treacherous as well, and that could happen as we get into tomorrow especially. Temperatures right now in the upper 20s in Madison and in Watertown, a little bit warmer just to the south in Monroe and Janesville at 30 degrees. Wind speeds, they've increased a bit out of the north and east at about 10 to 20 miles per hour. And alert days in the forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Multiple rounds, multiple waves of mixed precipitation. So the first one coming through right now, then a little bit of a lull overnight. And tomorrow we could see some more icy mix, and that changes to snow during the afternoon on Thursday. So both the Thursday morning and Thursday evening commute could theoretically be affected. So we're really going to have to take it easy on the roads for the next day or so. For tonight, temperatures falling into the upper 20s, icy wintry mix. We could be talking about close to 1/4 of an inch of ice, and that's usually the threshold where things really start to get dangerous, both on the roads and regarding power lines and tree branches as well. Temperatures will be in the mid-30s to start tomorrow, but we'll be falling through the 20s as we turn colder. That cold front does come through during the afternoon. So let's take a look at this on future track, as there are a lot of moving parts to this forecast. So this first wave, or this first round of mixed precipitation, moves through over the next few hours, and then a little bit of a lull overnight for southern Wisconsin. But by the time we get to the Thursday morning commute, note the time here, folks. This is around 6 or 6:30. This would not be an ideal scenario by any means for southern Wisconsin, because we have some freezing rain and sleet showing up, also some snow mixing in. That would make for a very, very tough commute for Thursday morning. And then things changing over to snow by the time we get to later on Thursday. And that could provide some minor snow accumulations as well. Everything finally does wrap up later tomorrow. And then for Friday, we're off to a very cold start with temperatures in the single digits. So here are our latest ice or forecast ice numbers. Still talking close to 1/4 of an inch for much of southern Wisconsin, especially back towards the south and west of Madison. That could cause lots of problems on the roadways, especially by tomorrow morning. And then the expected snowfall, generally the amounts going up pretty dramatically as you head to the north and west, but most of us just dealing with minor snow accumulations. So your 7 to 10 day forecast showing things definitely colder for this weekend, with wind chills of -10 to -20 possible. A couple rounds of snow on the way for next week. Right now looking at minor accumulations, but we'll continue to update that forecast. Highs in the 20s, and we could be looking at a little bit of light snow just in time for any Valentine's night plans.
Greg Gard and the Badgers hope it's a different deal in their rematch with the Gophers in Minneapolis tonight. The story's coming up in sports.
Hi, I'm Michelle Carolla. Tonight on Fox 47, a story you'll only see here at 9, how a new UW study is linking cancer with obesity. The details on that first on Fox at 9.
Wisconsin and Minnesota continue their long men's basketball rivalry in Minneapolis tonight. It's an 8 o'clock tip on BTN. The first meeting this season, the Gophers beat the Badgers 59-52 on January 3rd. Wisconsin looked awful in the first half, and the Gophers handed the Badgers one of their 2 home losses all season long at the Kohl Center. The goal for the Badgers tonight, don't get so far behind so early.
Obviously, offensively, we scored like 15 points in the first half, wherever it was, and we got to come out better. We can't put ourselves in a hole like we did against Maryland as well. We obviously came back in both those games and came up short. So if we don't get in that hole this time, we think we should be able to beat them.
And so I think sense of urgency and energy right away. Especially that's big time on the road. They have a great environment there at the barn. We got to go out there and make a statement early.
Thon Maker wanted to be traded. Today he got his wish. Maker is going to go to the Detroit Pistons for Stanley Johnson, who's a wing player, 22 years old, averaging 7.5 points and 3.6 rebounds for the Pistons. The Bucks play the Washington Wizards in Milwaukee tonight. That means Sam Decker is back in Wisconsin. Remember, for about 10 minutes in December, social media had him traded to the Bucks, but it was actually a 3-way deal sending him to the Wizards. Decker says he knew he wasn't going to the Bucks.
And, I'm dealing with the behind-the-scenes stuff, the logistics stuff already. So I don't have time to text everyone back like, hey, no, that's actually not happening. It's a 3-team deal. That was unfair to some people back home because that was just like toying with them a little bit. But no, I never thought I was going to be a Buck.
The American Family Insurance Championship at University Ridge is heading into its 4th year, and today the tournament got a little more interesting because a Hall of Famer is coming here at the end of June. That's Baseball Hall of Famer John Smoltz. Smoltz gets a sponsor's exemption to play in the American Family Insurance Championship. He was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2015 after a 21-year career, mostly with the Atlanta Braves. He won 211 games, had 154 saves. You can see he's a pretty good golfer, too. Smoltz qualified for the U.S. Senior Open last summer, and again, he'll be playing in the American Family Insurance Championship this June. Last night, our Prep Mania Game of the Week, the Monroe girls basketball team continued its hot streak with a 72-55 win at Monona Grove to move to within a game of first place in the Badger South with 3 games to play. Wisconsin Badger recruit Sydney Hilliard showed why she's going to Division I, and the Badgers are going to be glad to have her. Hilliard scored 22 points, played great defense and offense. She was good, too. She'll look great in a Badger uniform next season. We have another game of the week tomorrow night. In their first meeting, La Follette won at Sun Prairie, 105-104 in 2 overtimes. Don't miss the rematch tomorrow night, 7:15 live on channel3000.com. And 8 years ago today, the Packers beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Super Bowl 45 in North Texas. Aaron Rodgers hit Greg Jennings with what proved to be the game-winning touchdown in a 31-25 Packers win, the 4th Super Bowl win in franchise history. Rodgers was named the MVP of the game. He held the Lombardi Trophy for the first and only time in his career. When will his next one be? Who knows? Remember we said, oh, they'll be back soon?
Yeah, you always take that.
Tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
He's 35 now, so we'll see.
All right, Jay, thank you. Final check with Dave.
Yeah, the mixed precipitation, unfortunately, is back soon, and it's back right now across southern Wisconsin. We could see some snow, some sleet, some freezing rain showing up across the area, and that will be with us for the next couple of hours. I do think that we'll see a lull in the precipitation overnight, but by the time we get to the start of the Thursday morning commute, we could be dealing with some more ice, some more freezing rain and sleet, also some snow throughout the day. We'll see that mixed precipitation change over to snow tomorrow afternoon and could make for a tricky Thursday evening commute before we calm down and cool down by the time we get to this weekend.
All right, Dave, thank you, and thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.